So my name is Felipe Rincón. I am a senior lecturer here at the School of Mathematics in Queen Mary. I am originally from Colombia. I grew up in Colombia until I was like 22 years old, and then I left for my PhD in the US. I've been traveling around for a bit, and now I've been here for like 6 years now.
What is one exciting thing about being a mathematician?
I mean, there are many exciting things about being a mathematician. There's also, I think a lot of people are aware of how important maths is being these days, how it appears everywhere. It's also, people are aware about how studying maths really gives you a good framework for understanding the world, for understanding many other disciplines. It really teaches you how to construct arguments, how to separate what's an assumption, what's a conclusion, all these things. But maybe I would say that something people are not so aware of is how much of a collaborative thing mathematics is. Like, when I was little, I imagined that mathematics was very just you sit down and read a book for the whole day and that's it, and doing maths is that. But really, when growing up, I realized how useful it is to discuss maths with other people, how useful it is to be taught by someone else instead of having to read a book on your own, just like going and doing maths with other people and talking. That's really how maths is exciting to be done to me, and that's, it's very useful. I don't think our students, for instance, are aware of how useful it is to go to lectures and really have someone interact with you and teach you mathematics, and that's how it is in general. Doing maths is a social thing, and that's exciting to me.
Did you have a role model who motivated you to become a mathematician, or someone you look up to, and how has this influenced your path?
Yes, I've had several people that have influenced me a lot. Maybe someone I can talk about is Federico Ardila. So he's a professor at San Francisco State University in the US. I met him because he's Colombian as well, so we met in Colombia. He was my undergrad advisor, and he was my master's advisor, and I admired a lot how the kind of mathematics that he does. I admire a lot how much he cares about creating inclusive spaces in mathematics. So already from the beginning, it was clear to me that I wanted to pursue some kind of path, research path in the kind of mathematics that he did. And then later we started coming up with some initiatives in Colombia for including more people, for organizing events that would benefit the community. And throughout my career, I've been looking up to him and saying, okay, yeah, I like a lot what this person is doing for including people. So, yeah.
What obstacles have you encountered along your journey in science that you believe are specific to lack of diversity, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, I could say a lot of things there, because I really feel that, coming from Colombia and my background was not the most advantageous background, so I've encountered some things that I do feel have made it more difficult for me to do some things. Maybe one concrete thing that I can say, it's good to say concrete things, is how much I have struggled with visas and just being able to travel to other countries. Because Colombians, we especially before, we used to need visas everywhere. We used to need a visa for entering the UK or entering Europe. That meant that whenever I wanted to go to a conference, I would have to spend first one day preparing the visa application, and that takes a long time. Then another day traveling to the embassy, which is maybe in a different city. Then I would have to spend money on my own, paying for the visa application. And the thing is that because the community is not so diverse, because this happens relatively seldom, that people are not aware that this is a struggle that a lot of people have to do. So there are not so many. There's not so much support for this. For example, I wouldn't get financial support for applying for the visa in many cases, or this whole time that I would invest in getting the visa would really set me back. Instead of doing research, I would be applying for visas. And this is something that still happens to me. For instance, last year I was organizing a very cool conference on matrix theory in Canada. I were organizing a workshop with other people. It was very exciting, just top quality speakers and so on. And when I applied, in the end, I applied for the visa to go to Canada, and I didn't get it. I didn't manage to get it on time, so I could not go to the workshop that I organized. And yeah, I had to watch it online, and I could feel that I was really missing on many interactions and many things. So yeah, this is just like one of the things that really I feel, and maybe people are not so aware of, and if more people were aware of, like people who organize conferences or people at the universities, they could create like some kind of more support net, yeah, some kind of support for people who have to go through this, and be more understanding and be more prepared for how this thing needs to go.
Reflecting on the challenges in your career, is there any advice for aspiring or early career mathematicians who are facing the same obstacles?
Yeah, it's gonna sound cliche. I mean, this is kind of a question that any answer is gonna sound cliche because you're trying to give advice to everyone at the same time. But in my case, I think something that wasn't obvious to me at the beginning and now it's very obvious is that it's very easy to compare yourself to other people in mathematics, in academia, or in whatever that you're doing. Especially, yeah, in mathematics, there are some very loud people that like to show how fast they think or how much they know, and it's very easy to like measure yourself against them and to compare yourself. Okay, yeah, I should be writing more papers because these people have written like 4 papers now, or they answer all the questions that the teacher is asking and the professor is asking. But what I've realized is that doing mathematics is much more than writing papers or much more than getting best grades in the exam. There are lots of other, there's many dimensions to that, like talking to people, communicating mathematics, or there's really, like, just as we need fast thinkers for doing things, we also need slow thinkers that understand things more deeply and know what questions need to be asked. We need people, yeah, communicating and collaborating, organizing things. So I think my advice is, okay, don't just try to measure yourself against the most stereotypical things of what is a good mathematician or not, but just try to figure out what it is that you enjoy about mathematics. I think if we're in mathematics, it's because we enjoyed something like this. We enjoyed something about mathematics at the beginning, so try to find what those are and try to build your identity and your career around that. What is it that you're good at? What is it that you enjoy? Use those in favor of what you want to achieve. It doesn't, yeah, don't think that you need to be like anyone else, but try to discover what it is in you that makes you be good at maths. And there's lots of many things that can be. So